Hi there, grade 5 and 6 boys and girls. I am Ms. Shamshuddin and welcome again to another session where we will explore and learn so that we could improve our reading and our spelling skills. Now, today in this session, we will be focusing on how we can develop our reading skills, and then we are going to look at some aspects of spelling where we are going to choose words and find their meanings using the dictionary. Are you ready for this session today? I hope you are. As we go along, please do ensure that you grab a book, a pencil, and if you have a dictionary, please make sure you have it right next to you so that you could be totally involved in the session for today. As we read this passage, please observe the punctuations, and we would have discussed punctuations in our other sessions for our grammar and other language sessions. Pause briefly where commas are seen, stop and take a breath at full stops, high pitch for statements of exclamation and surprise, and a lower tone for questions. Now, these are just a few guides to help you have a smooth, meaningful reading exercise. Now, the story that we're going to look at today has a conversation between two persons. So if you have a friend or a member of your family, let them read with you as one of the characters so that you could really enjoy the session in today's lesson. Let's get started. Then and now. Uncle Sonny and Uncle Johnny were neighbors who lived in the same village for more than 70 years. They did lots of things together. They farmed, fished, cut wood, and attended to other activities. Some moonlight nights, the children of the village sat on the steps to hear Uncle Sonny and Uncle Johnny tell old-time stories. They talked about village life long ago. Now here is a part of the conversation between Uncle Johnny and Uncle Sonny one moonlight night. This is the time where you will need your character. Uncle Johnny: Sonny, do you remember what happened in this village many years ago? We never locked our doors or even shut our windows at night. Uncle Sonny: those were good old days. Very few people stole from their neighbors. We respected each other very much. Uncle Johnny: I remember that I could scold any child of the neighborhood. The child was never rude to me, and his parents were never annoyed. They encouraged the older people to supervise their children. Uncle Sonny: most parents become annoyed when their children are scolded by other people these days. Uncle Johnny: do you remember the incident with Mr. David that day when we were children? We were returning home from school when someone said that Mr. David had gone to the village meeting. We all decided to raid Mr. David's fruit tree. There were many fruit trees in Mr. David's yard. At that time, the guinea trees were laden with large, ripe guineas. There were guineas even on the ground under the trees. Uncle Sonny: we were having a good time in the trees, picking and eating the guineas and joking with each other. Mr. David came back suddenly and caught all of us in the trees. We were afraid he would flog us, so we sat in the trees for hours. Uncle Johnny: Mr. Gentle, another neighbor, was passing and was told what had happened to us. He begged Mr. David to give us a chance, then took us home to our parents. Our parents thanked Mr. Gentle, made us apologize to Mr. David, and scolded us about stealing. Uncle Johnny: well, children, we lived together as neighbors. We lived in peace and love. The children: we wish those days would return and we'll all be happy. Well, I hope that you enjoyed that story. Now I have a few words that we will look at a bit closer, and this is the time where we will use our dictionary to find out the meaning of those words. I hope that you have your dictionary nearby, so let's get started with our words and meaning activity. Now listen carefully to each of the words. Look at the spelling and find it in your dictionary. Our first word, conversation. Conversation. Let's spell conversation. C-O-N-V-E-R-S-A-T-I-O-N. Conversation. Let's spell conversation again. C-O-N-V-E-R-S-A-T-I-O-N. Conversation. Did you find conversation in your dictionary? Let's look at what it means. The word conversation is a talk, especially an informal one between two or more people in which news and ideas are exchanged. So it's something that you do every day. You have conversation. In this story, the word conversation is used as a noun. Can you remember which part of the story the word conversation was used? Yes, this is the part where it was used. Here is a part of the conversation between Uncle Johnny and Uncle Sonny one moonlight night. I hope that you wrote that word down. The next word we're going to look at is neighbor. The word is neighbor. Let's spell N-E-I-G-H-B-O-U-R, neighbor. N-E-I-G-H-B-O-U-R, neighbor. I hope you're looking or you have found the word neighbor in your dictionary. Let's see what the word neighbor means. The word neighbor tells of a person living next door or very near to the speaker or person speaking or being spoken of. Neighbor means the person living next door or very near to the speaker or person speaking or being spoken of. Do you have a neighbor? I'm sure you do. Your neighbor would be the person living next door to you. Let's see how the word neighbor was used in the story. In the story, the word neighbor was also used as a noun. Uncle Sonny and Uncle Johnny were neighbors. Our next word is scolded. What does the word scolded mean? But before, while you are looking for yours, let's spell scolded. S-C-O-L-D-E-D, scolded. Let's spell that again. S-C-O-L-D-E-D, scolded. The word scolded means remonstrate with or rebuke someone, to speak to someone angrily because you disapprove of their behavior. In this story, the word scolded is used as a verb in the past tense. Let's look back at the sentence in which it was used. Our parents thanked Mr. Gentle, made us apologize to Mr. David, and scolded us about stealing. Our final word for today is supervise. Supervise. Let's spell together the word supervise. S-U-P-E-R-V-I-S-E. Supervise. Let's spell that again. S-U-P-E-R-V-I-S-E. supervise. Now, what does the word supervise mean? Did you find it in your dictionary? The word supervise means to observe and direct the work or someone. In this story, it is used as a verb. Let's look at the sentence in which the word supervised was used. They encouraged the older people to supervise their children. It simply means that the older people were encouraged to look over, observe, and direct their children. So, boys and girls, let's now look at our focus words once again. Make sure you have them all written down somewhere so that you can learn to spell them. Now, as we look at these words, I also want you to take careful note of how they're listed. If you look carefully, you will notice that they're placed in alphabetical order, meaning this is how they would be found in a dictionary. You would most obviously find the word conversation first in the dictionary because it begins with the letter C. Then you will find neighbors. After that, you will find the word scolded and then supervise. Again, these words are placed in the order in which they can be found in a dictionary. You would first find conversation, neighbors, scolded, and then supervise. Now, if you look at the last two words, scolded and supervise, you would realize that scolded is before supervise. Even though they both begin with the letter S, scolded has to come before supervise because C, which is the second letter, comes before U, which is the second letter in the word supervise. So again, these words are arranged in alphabetical order. So if you're looking for the words in your dictionary, you would need to look in this order, or you would realize that conversation is more to the front of the dictionary. Then as you go down, you will find the word neighbor, and the words beginning with letter S are further down in your dictionary. Well, that's all for our lesson today. You can find the story that we read today in the Fun with Language Book 5. So be sure to go back and have another read of that story. Until next time, I'm Ms. Shamshideen saying so long and continue to be safe.